Hello, everybody. Jonathan Pariente here alongside my broadcast partner, Pat Brown. As the Brooklyn College Bulldogs basketball season has just begun, a couple games in, we are pleased to welcome here today with us the head coach for the men's Brooklyn College Bulldogs. After the first two games, Coach Jeffrey Jean-Baptiste. He joins us here today. Coach, a pleasure to have you. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm great. I'm great. Can't
All right.
complain.
All right, Coach. Well, so far two games in, two games against the NJAC conference. Um, Unfortunately, not the results I know you wanted, but your team definitely has shown a little something. The William Patterson game to start things off was a very good back and forth battle there. What were some things you took away from the first couple of games to start the season off?
Uh, well, the I guess the most important thing is defensively. I think we're right there. We put out pretty two good defensive efforts. Where we felt like if other things were to happen, would have put us in a good position to win. But we definitely understand our offensive side needs to kind of catch up to where we at defensively.
Hmm, there.
So, Coach, let me ask you. It seems to me within the first two games, Malik Dale, he took over the first game, scoring 31 points. But what is your offensive identity? It looked like some of you guys were kind of tentative to take shots.
Yeah, we're still trying to play fast. We implemented an offense to kind of really take advantage of transition opportunities, and that's something that we just have not been able to explore. We kind of did some a little bit against Willie P in a comeback in that little stretch where we were able to kind of go on a 13-0 run, but for the most part, we haven't really honed in on the transitional part of the offense. And obviously, in the transition where you have easier opportunities, we just haven't been able to get to that yet.
Hmm. Is it still maybe kind of a matter of the team's kind of trying to figure out who they are there? Who's going to be the other scorer that can maybe step up? If Malik Dale has a bad scoring night, maybe a Barker could step up. Maybe one of the new players steps up. Have our players beginning to figure out which one I want the ball in the hands of, like that can be that other scorer?
Obviously, the chemistry is still building. We still got two new people in the starting lineup. But even some of the returners, they're still trying to relearn some of the stuff that we kind of picked up last year because it's kind of the same offense from last year. And just it's a lot of responsibilities when it comes to playing that kind of fast, and they're trying to go back to those principles, and the new players are trying to learn it. And then what it really comes down to is the trust, being able to play fast and trust that they're going to be able to make the right play, the right read. And we just haven't collectively gotten to that point.
Coach, can you elaborate on how hard is it to replace not only veteran leadership, but your top leading scorers from last year's team?
Um, Obviously, that's a void that's we're looking to replace. Obviously, Eli and Cayenne were really big important parts of the offense. Bringing in new pieces to kind of like replace them, and those players aren't necessarily the same player. Not to say that they're not the same caliber, but they're not the same player. So them trying to input themselves in the offense and their imprint and the things that they do well, and me, also finding out ways to get them more involved. It's a learning process. We're trying to, do the things day by day to kind of build the foundation, the foundation block, so that eventually, everybody who is in the offense is a threat and able to play it at his best ability.
Hmm. Coach, talking with Coach Jeffrey Jean-Baptiste of the men's Brooklyn College Bulldogs. One of the players, at least that I've seen in the first couple of games, and really seems to have come out with a vengeance, is Gabriel Barker. He looks like he's a lot more physical at the basket now. He's been better attacking the net. What has changed in his game from one season ago?
Gabe is a worker. When he first came to us, a couple years back, he definitely needed to work on a lot of principles, a lot of fundamentals when it comes to playing a game. he's bought in since last year. Obviously, he needed to get better as a player. He's gotten better as a player. He's gotten his body better. So with all the attrition of him, continuing to work, it's starting to show. He still, has room to improve. But he's one of our more seasoned guys. He definitely knows what we need, especially on the defensive end, which has kind of been his shining light. And then offensively, he's shown moments, even last year, shown moments where, if he's able to kind of put it together, he can really be a really good impact for us coming off the bench.
Hmm.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about the two or three new pieces to your offense. You have Stephen McGill, you have Makai Barlow, and Mr. Davis. Let's talk a little bit about them and what they are bringing to the team this year.
Makai is a big rim runner. He's definitely somebody athletically who can definitely help us out. Obviously, on the defensive end, he does so much for us, protects the paint, gets the rebounds. He's definitely a post guy that we are looking to kind of, be able to get some post touches out of him. It's a work in progress. He's definitely, committed to wanting to get better, which is always a good thing. And we're working with him to, for him to be the type of player where we expect him to be. His potential is limitless. His eagerness to, get better every day is the one thing that I'm very happy about. And it's going to take time, and eventually he'll get to that point where he'll be a pivotal part of the offense or a pivotal part of the team in our success. And then Steph is another player who we feel will be an immediate impact. Very explosive, especially in transition, something that we don't really have in a lot of our other players. He's just getting accustomed to the offense. Obviously, it hasn't panned out the way we wanted to, but we definitely feel as if he can be a really big impact for us towards the end of the season.
So, Coach, now as you are coming into your next game, which will be on Wednesday against Farmingdale, talking about how you're preparing your team for this matchup and possibly looking to get your first win of the season.
Farmingdale's gonna be tough. They're good. They're 3-0. Watched some film on them already. They return a lot of key guys. Obviously, for us, not to say it's about Farmingdale, not about Farmingdale, but it's definitely something that we need to fix on our own side. Defensively, I think we're there. Offensively, I think we definitely need to shore up some things to take advantage of potentially opportunities like out of bounds plays and other plays that we feel that we should be getting more production out of. So we're going to be working on more ourselves in preparation for Farmingdale.
And Coach, being talking about preparation, uh, how are your practices? I did get a chance to see some of your practices before the season started. I saw the progression during the practices. What are you looking for team-wise in those practices that will translate into game situations?
I mean, there's nothing, one thing in particular, besides Stephon and Makai. We have a lot of new faces this year, so every day is just getting better. Step by step. In everything that we do. From rebounding, where I felt like we've been much improved this year. Defensively, we even though we were pretty decent last year, we're much improved. And every day we're just working on offense, just working on keys, and making sure everybody's doing the things that they need to do to put themselves in a good position. So, I can't say anything in particular, when it comes to things that we focus in on practice, because everybody's pretty much at the same rate, because, we've only returned like about 5 players, and then we have like 13 new players. 13 or 14. So it's a lot of new faces that just continue learning day by day. And we got to, maximize the amount of time that we have with them to kind of like expand on all facets of their game. So every day is just, continual work on all 3 phases of the game: rebounding, defense, and offense. And we do it every day. And we're definitely working on it every day so that, we can have more complete games.
Mm-hmm. Talking with Coach Jeffrey Jean Baptiste, one of those players that is on the returning team right now, he's currently on the mend, is Serge Thraisball. He has been out for the first few games. What is the status with Thraisball, and how soon do you feel he'll be back in the lineup?
Believe it or not, it's a funny story. He's been playing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there was a mishap with I don't know where the mishap happened, but they've put his number 20 as one of our incoming freshmen, and they haven't fixed it yet. So he's been playing, but under a different name, and we finally caught the attention of, and it happened during our game against Woody P. It was a road game, so it was understood, but it wasn't fixed until obviously it happened on our home court, where
Oh,
we
wow.
understood what the issue were. We thought that was just more a road issue, but it became a system issue. So he's been playing. He came off the bench yesterday. Nicholas, I mean, the name that you guys kept stating in the broadcast was Nicholas Denot, but that was actually Serge. But
Oh,
believe it or
wow.
not. Believe it or not, though, even with Serge, he's been battling injuries since the summer. He had a fracture in his back, and unfortunately, in the summer, came back, early in the preseason, got an injury to his knee. So he's on. He's honestly, if I had to throw a number out there, he's probably playing at 80%. He hasn't had much of a preseason, but he was still able to kind of go out there and do some things for us. He's a seasoned guy. He put a lot of work in prior to him getting injured. So the work is obviously starting to show, even though, he's been, injured for the most part of the season so far. I was shocked. I
So
was even
tell
I was even able to play him 27 minutes. But he was kind of going for us, and I kind of extended those minutes a little longer than I probably should have.
well, tell him that I apologize. I did not know the mix-up, and we will definitely get that straightened out.
And,
So get out.
and get it fixed on our end too. Don't worry about it. So you won't have
No
that mixed
problem.
up.
All right.
Oh, oh man, I'm so sorry. But so going for your progression into the CUNYAC, you guys have been predicted to finish sixth. Do you agree with that prediction, or do you see yourselves higher in the standing?
I mean, anybody who's a competitor doesn't agree with something that, where there's eight teams in the league, you're sitting at number six. But, I definitely understand it. We haven't shown anything for the past 2 years. We lost two key guys from last year, and we got a whole new team. So, for everybody else to know exactly where we would finish and finish higher than six in comparison to teams who've been successful over the past few seasons, it's totally understandable. I mean, obviously, this is just more motivation for the guys and for us to kind of use to go see these CUNY games and tell them this team has been rated 2 games ahead of you. But we've been a part of this for so long that we understand how this works, and we don't necessarily use that as an indicator of who we are as a team. So yeah, I understand it's a motivational tool for us, but we don't play as if we think we're the sixth rated team in CUNY.
Get you out of here, coach, on this last one. How important was it for you to face these very tough teams at the start of the year, to take on the NJAC conference right off the bat, and then eventually to, again, take on teams outside of CUNY early? Does it help
Well,
build? Does it help build? Does it help build this team's chemistry, et cetera? 'Cause I know you will have a game also coming up in Virginia. It'll be a 2-game tournament at Roanoke College. How important was it to face these tougher opponents to start the year, to then get kind of eased into the CUNYAC schedule as the season progresses?
yeah, this is always a topic of conversation, right? Because when it comes to scheduling, you got to kind of choose particular teams for a specific reason. My whole thing has always been I just want to play the best. I think playing the best makes your team better. It may not necessarily look good on the win-loss record if your team is not ready for it, but I think just playing the best team just makes your team a better team in the long run, because it tests you in so many different facets of the game. There's, not to take nothing from other programs, but you may play some programs who may not be as good as in Jersey City or William Patterson or Farmingdale, and you can edge out a win, but you don't necessarily get better as a team. Playing these type of teams, they definitely push you to the brink of making sure you do the right thing on the court, and if you don't, they'll make you pay for it. And for us to know how we will be in CUNY, we got to go through these fires throughout the course of the non-conference so that we can be well prepared for what CUNY has to offer us in come January. Because CUNY games, no matter how the records are, coaches know it, coaches, players know players. Those games become tough, regardless of records. So we want to be the most prepared team when it comes to CUNY play. So playing these non-conference schedule for me, even though it may be against popular, opinion to schedule such tough opponents, but this is the reason why my team was ready and able to compete in that CUNYAC tournament a couple of years ago, even though we started this, preseason kind of 1-8, 1-9. But we lost to teams that were, most of those teams made the tournament, during our non-conference games, or at least made the semifinals or the finals in their conference tournament. So we knew playing those teams helped prepare us for the tournament, and that's what it did. So we were able to kind of go to the tournament and win the tournament and put us in the position where we go to the NCAAs. We're not playing a tournament team for the first time and experience that type of physicality or speed or any other things that we wouldn't have, access to if we didn't go through the experience. So that's always been my logic. I don't think CUNY is a at-large type of conference. So if we're not going to win 20 games and get an at-large bid, I might as well do everything in my power to prepare us to win the tournament, and then also give them an opportunity to experience what teams are in the tournament so they can have a fighting chance. So, as long as there's not a rule for me to not schedule these games, I think I'll continue scheduling these games because it's the type of basketball that I enjoy coaching in. It's the type of basketball that I bring players to play in. And, hopefully, we'll get better to the point where, we won't be losing these close games and we'll finally be pulling out, some wins.
I think the chemistry is slowly coming. I definitely see a different team than from a year ago, and I think this team's getting close.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely getting there. Coach,
definitely.
yep. And Coach Baptiste, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for taking some time with us, and good luck to you guys Wednesday against Farmingdale.
Appreciate it so much, man. You guys have a good one, and definitely looking forward to seeing you guys down the road.
Yep, definitely.
No
All right.
problem, and we will get all those faux pas fixed.
Got you.
All right.
It's early. It's early this year, so you know how it goes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good one, Coach.
All right. You too, Coach.
Okay, bye.
That was Coach Jeffrey Jean Baptiste. The Brooklyn College men's Bulldogs will play their next game Wednesday on November 15th. Game will be 7:15 against the Farmingdale State College Rams. Me and Pat will have live coverage on that game on youtube.com, your home for everything Brooklyn. And then we'll then travel on the road to play in the Roanoke tournament on November 17th in Salem, Virginia. So, Pat, this men's team is really beginning. This team is really starting to play these tougher opponents, and I think it's going to be very important to see how far this team will go from here.
It is very important. And as Coach said, it also reveals what he has on his team, what their mentality is, where they're going to stand against these tough opponents. So when he goes into CUNYAC and they get into those tough situations, he knows how his players are going to react. He knows what they're going to perform and how they're going to perform. And that's what he's looking forward to. And winning the tournament is the thing. So do what he has to do to get this team prepared.
Yep, we definitely will see what happens. All right, with that, that's going to wrap up our special little edition here of Brooklyn College Bulldogs basketball as we interviewed Coach Baptiste, and we will have Coach Megan Campbell joining us on a later date some point soon to discuss the women's Bulldogs and their start to the season as well. But for now, I'm Jonathan Perriente saying so long. Thank you for watching.